All right, everybody, we got a couple different tournaments from last week, but before we get into the second one from the OLS, we have the LRA with a game from week 5 here. We're going to do Void versus Haughty. Void being from Team OTK, Haughty from Team Kraken, and another great game, as always, from the LRA. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the game. I could talk about Lee Sin all damn day at this point. And let's go ahead and head on over to the game. And again, we have Void versus Haughty here in just a second. Looks like they are loading in. Please don't be a bad connection. Please don't be a bad connection. And I'm going to get the score up for you guys as well. So, I mean, listen, from day one, I really have not had too much of a problem with Bastion. I do agree that the barrier is a little busted on Lee Sin, but I just don't think the deck in general is as good as people give it credit for. I mean, and for the reason that you're saying, like it can win against anything, but I feel like there have been other decks like that can win against everything. TF Swain. And those haven't been touched at all. Like although people are finally talking about Ravenous Flock getting a nerf,
yeah.
But
I think the difference is TF Swain isn't one-shotting you.
Okay, that is, yeah. I guess people are more likely to get pissed off at a deck that one-shots you than OTKs you, I guess. So,
especially one with so many counter spells.
Oh, hold on.
The losses definitely feel totally one-sided.
Oh, there. Wow. Okay. So I apologize, guys. Looks like it has taken a second to load up Void's end, so I'm hoping that changes in just a second. I'm not sure why it's not really loading up here. So let's do this. I'm gonna go ahead and swap the views for you guys. So I just want to make sure that we get the gameplay. So I'm gonna delete some of this stuff off the screen and swap these views real quick because Void's is lagging just a bit. And if Void's ever decides it wants to load, well, all right, yeah, see, now Void is very slowly loading the hand into the game. One card at a time, so we'll see if we can actually get it. But we are going to have Haughty's perspective here instead. That way we don't get any sort of delays or anything like that. So, and you can kind of make out, they're blurred pictures. Like, we know there's a Slaughter Dox in Void's hand, so we'll see if that gets played early on here.
Meanwhile, Haughty's got sort of the ideal Daybreak curve, is missing the Lunari Priestess, but does have a Ravoon to sort of compensate.
Oh, man.
And it looks like we're going to get a remake. That's unfortunate. I mean, Haughty had a pretty good hand there.
I know, that's the one thing I always had a question about with remakes was what do you do when it's a remake and you have like the nut draw, right? What do you? You
cry.
Yeah, you're like, man, this sucks. Like,
you think of a parallel universe where if your opponent had better internet, you'd be better off in the tournament.
Yeah. So it looks like from the looks of it, they did have connection problems, and maybe that's why it wasn't really loading on Void's end either. So we'll see in just a second if we can get reconnected here and get everything back on track. What I do want to do, actually, you know what? I'm going to get the logos back up there because I just got to switch them around. I was like, you know what? I'm going to have OTK on the bottom all game, and then they go and do that to me. So now, Void, you're going on top. Haughty's going down bottom. And boom, here we go. Logos, everybody. Because we're like
easy.
That. Easy. So
it's easy because I didn't do anything.
Yeah, yeah, easy for you. So, all right. Game 1 again. Haughty versus Void. Void taking the deep deck in here. And like you mentioned, we do have the Slaughter Dox being run. I said Dox because I'm saying Slaughter, so I'm saying Dox. Being run by Void, so we'll see if that's going to give Void any sort of advantage. I personally like the card.
What kind of accent did you develop?
That's basically, well, that's like a hardcore Boston accent, like park the car in the garage. Like that's, dude, it's bad. You live in New York, you know how they make fun of Boston accents. Come on, Boston.
Yeah, that's true. But I also have friends in Boston, so like I guess because they all just like talk like they're from Jersey, I never noticed it.
Oh, did they move there from Jersey?
Yeah.
It's weird. There's a lot of people from New Jersey that move up to Rhode Island and Massachusetts for some reason. I don't get it. Well, actually, never mind. I do get it because Jersey gets a lot of crap a lot of the time. Never mind. So, anyways, I love all states equally.
I don't.
Oh, man. So we do see the Thorny Toad coming out early here, and that's always good. You know, it is able to act as sort of a chump blocker, and obviously tosses you. And then not chump block. All right, never mind.
Valuing the health on it for a little bit later on.
I'm not sure why Void's screen is dark. Did that ever happen to you on Discord?
No.
It's like a darker color than... Oh, there it is. There it is. Haha, magic. All right. Whew, looks like we finally got everything connected. Everybody is loading properly. Everything's good. We have made it, ladies and gentlemen. And now we have to pick between the Warrior, the Falling Comet, and the Traveler on the side of Haughty.
So, Comet's really, really good against Deep. You know, it is sort of your one-stop shop. Get that Nautilus off the board on a turn where they can't do anything about it. It's mana efficient. But Traveler gives you a really good turn 4.
Yeah, I mean, Traveler's always good because it just kind of keeps the value engine going, right? Like, you get that free 3/4 body. You get to repick a Celestial that's, you know, theoretically stronger. Looks like we are going for the turn 4 play, and you know, I got to agree with that. I really like it. You know, curves out well. Ooh, never mind. Comet would have been better now.
Should have taken the Comet, buddy.
Comet would have been better.
You already have the Lux in hand. You know, it would have been that one. You know, look, you're not even playing the Traveler on 4. Blech.
Now it feels bad. But hey, you know, we can't all know what we're going to draw next, so it's unfortunate.
Yeah, we can't all be Boulevard.
Yeah, yeah, what are you, Yugi Moto now?
I have my Millennium Eye.
Got that Millennium Eye in your pocket, man. That's how you won Force of Will World Championship.
Actually,
all right.
there was a joke going around where I would always sit with my backpack in my lap, and it was because I had really bad nerves, and I like needed something to hold on to while I was playing. And like once I started doing that and my nerves got settled, I started playing out of my mind. And people always joked that like I had the Millennium backpack.
No, it was actually a little gnome in the backpack that was feeding you what your opponent had in there. Oh man, but all right. So we are going to get a pretty wide attack here from Haughty. You know, obviously, is what you want to do versus Deep is try to get as much damage pushed as quickly as possible. And yeah, I mean Void. You know, it's not bad that we saved that Thorny Toad from the first attack because we do have this Deadbloom Wanderer as well. So that's going to be a total of 5 more health that we can likely gain here, which is going to put us back up to 17. So Void is still in an okay spot, and with something like 2 Jaw Hunters in hand, man, those things are so good. It's basically like a 3 mana, deal 4 damage, put a sea monster in your hand as long as your opponent doesn't have a Vile Feast. That's basically what that card reads. And
that's a lot of text.
That's a lot of text. And right now, Haughty not played Shadow Isle, so no Vile Feast, and there is a single combat, but still feels good getting a single combat out as removal. All right, and we got a wowzers. Ooh. Wow, that is top 5 Ruinations that I've seen as of late. That is right there. Because we even get the last breath effect on this Thorny Toad. That is a hella good Ruination.
But you didn't get the Traveler.
And
they survived.
At least we have another Lux, right? There's that, I guess.
Yeah, there is that. So, Sharp Sight. Seems a little out of place to me in this deck. I mean, I understand that you are Leona, you are a board-centric, you're going to be fighting for board kind of thing. We do see, 3 of the Pale Cascade, but only 2 of the Guiding Touch, so really valuing the combat tricks available. But, I don't know, this one doesn't replace itself, and I feel like that was sort of the major draw of something like the Pale Cascade.
Yeah, I got to agree. I mean, Pale Cascade just to me feels like a better version of it. Especially because if you're thinking like, all right, well, the +2/+2 allows me to trade better with like Shield Bearers and Solari Soldiers and stuff like that. But if that's the case, you're worried about attack, not health. And that's really what you're doing. You're losing a card draw for 1 health, and I don't really think that's worth it in this deck. But hey, Haughty's the one who built the deck. We'll see if we're able to get any value.
He still plays 3 Pale Cascade.
Oh, there's 3 Pale Cascade in there as well? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Yeah. He's just gone real hard on combat tricks like that.
All right. No, so then I'm actually interested because The thing with 2-mana spells, especially when you're playing 5-mana spells like Star Shaping, you're able to get these Lux Final Sparks a little bit easier. So being able to play those combats, you can even play 3 of those and get a Final Spark as well, which seems like it would actually be pretty common, playing 3 Pale Cascade and 3 Sharp Sight. So curious to see how many Final Sparks we can actually get here on Haughty's side.
I wanna take a second to crap talk Sharp Sight a little bit.
Uh-oh.
As you know, I've been on a big Vladimir rant lately.
Yep.
Why's Transfusion got downside when Sharp Sight has upside?
Dude, you know what? When I saw that, when I watched your video and you brought that up, I was like, wow, I can't believe I didn't notice that. And I think it's because I haven't played Transfusion in forever. But yeah, like what? Like why does Transfusion? It's literally the same card except completely. One has a downside, one has an upside. Why? Like, dude, I 100% agree. That makes no sense, and I feel like they gave too much value to self-inflicting damage when they made that, because there's no way they missed that in development. You know, like they had to have thought like, this card has upside, this card has downside. Oh, but there's upside because if you damage yourself, you get cool effects. Like, no. If Crimson Disciple was still deal 2 damage, yeah, maybe I would agree with that, but it's not, and there's not nearly that good of effects of self-inflicting damage to yourself. But maybe we'll get those in the future. That's the other thing you got to think about, right? Like, maybe it will actually be that good dealing damage to its own units.
I don't know. So far, I feel like we haven't gotten a lot of support for existing archetypes out of newer sets. Generally, they're pushing new archetypes every time.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what they come up with. But yeah, I agree 100%. I think that's nuts.
Potentially like RIP Transfusion.
Yeah, potentially RIP Transfusion. They might make a change to it because of that. But maybe it's like +3/+2 or like +2/+3 maybe. But
we'll see.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I am a little happy to see Sharp Sight see play, because this is a card where when you look at it, you think 2 mana +2/+2, that's pretty good. But what kind of deck do you find it in? Apparently, Leona Lux, which pretty likely to take away the game here after this Cosmic Inspiration goes off, because now Devourer of the Depths is pretty much just off the table.
Yeah.
On any significant threat.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before, right? Cosmic Inspiration, even without that random refill your spell mana since they've nerfed it, it's crazy. Everything with +2/+2, you think Sharp Sight's good, giving it +2/+2 till end of round. All right, how about everything permanently? And that's what this does. And it, when you have a 7/8 Lux staring you down, that is just probably too much to come back from. So we'll see how many Final Sparks can get generated. And really, as long as we're able to deal with this Nautilus, I think Haughty, like you said, will be able to take it away here. It could be tough, though. Listen, Nautilus is a big boy. Like, I feel like
Nautilus is about to get stunned, though. This top deck Ravoon was timely. Never mind.
Okay.
Ooh, is this just going to be... Oh, no. I don't know how far away Void is from deep, but he doesn't have a way to get there at the moment.
So... Yeah. Wait, I wonder what the count is, because for Haughty to attack there... Oh, wait, no. Is Void not playing Jettison?
He plays 2. Maybe they got tossed already?
Yeah, so Haughty must have had a pretty good count of what's been tossed and what the deep count is to actually go for that attack, not worrying that the Nautilus would just block the Lux. And actually, that's pretty big, because now, suddenly, this Nautilus is a lot easier to kill. Like, a lot easier to kill, just getting that one bit of chip damage in there. So we'll see if that's going to come in bigger a little bit later. But as of right now, still not getting.
It still takes
lasers.
3 Final Sparks.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But that's the thing, right? Like, we can't even, like, this Star Shaping feels bad because you're at 20. So you can't even really get the Final Sparks yet. This Slaughter Dogs, too. And this is why I like Slaughter Dogs. It completely flips the... Like, if you thought the game flipped when a deep deck goes deep, it flips that much more when you have a Slaughter Dogs on the field, because now you just immediately get a big old unit. And like I said before, the lowest possible unit you can get is a Beast from the Below as a 7/7.
Oh.
Wow.
He doesn't have a Celestial to behold, though, so the Supernova not going to be online for Haughty.
Do you ever get another Cosmic Inspiration here to just...
You also don't have a Celestial to behold for that. I think you have to take the Scourge. Granted, the Scourge isn't a bad take. Your opponent's at 4 life. This does represent lethal, a turn or 2 from now.
Yeah, and kind of has to do this because of that Abyssal Eye, too. And that's why this card is good. It's an elusive unit. You have to take care of it. And
no, you don't. We have Sharp Sight.
Oh, that's right. I wasn't even... Wait a second. I wonder if Haughty forgot about that there, and that's why
I think he just, I think he just wanted to get it off the field in case another one comes down, or doesn't necessarily want to like proactively use this sharp sight.
I don't know, man. That was a pretty easy block. +2/+2. You can block it. Like I mean, hell, you got the card in your deck. You might as well use it. Oh man, but we do have the Maokai come down, and that's another way that Void gets back into this. You know, I mean, once you do go deep, there's the chance that you just suddenly are on that 4-turn clock. And we also have a Nautilus's Riptide in hand. That was just kind of chilling in there. I didn't realize that was there. That could come in handy as well.
Yeah, and I think that's why we see Haughty hold back on the Scourge, understanding that there are pretty efficient removal options that Void could have, and he still has lethal on board, only being at 3. You've got a pretty good shot at cleaning this one up, especially with this Concerted Strike into another laser, depending on what Void chooses to develop here, because right now, Nautilus and Maokai just aren't enough, and there is going to be the Abyssal Eye. I think this is what's going to start to prompt some kind of play out of Haughty, especially now that there is a Keel Breaker picked up by Void.
All right, I just want to see.
There's the Scourge, but that's just Nautilus's Riptide food.
Yeah, 4 mana, exactly what's left for Void. Wow, and this is going to feel bad. You know, that is a big old follower there, but it's going to get shuffled back into the deck. I just want to see Sharp Sight get used right here. That's just...
Oh, it's about to. 100%.
I just want to see that happen. If that happens, then I am a happy man. And no.
Or Hush.
No, why would you ever use Hush
Sharp
instead
Sight.
of Sharp Sight?
Sharp
Haughty,
Sight. Sharp Sight.
Don't do this to us. Just play the damn card. It's new. It does cool things. Do the cool things.
I'm actually surprised that every time we've seen Sharp Sight in a deck, it's been against an elusive
Yeah.
deck.
Well, and then the earlier time that we saw it, it was never even used for that. You got to be kidding me. We just hushed it instead of, you know, I mean.
Oh, I'm blocked with the thing that's gonna get Riptide.
I mean, don't you?
Oh, man.
I feel like there's so many better. What the heck? I just that.
What do you really care about this Ravoon going to 4 HP for?
Everything about that whole turn just makes me kind of mad. I'm just gonna throw that out there. And
with Caster Vision, that looked pretty bad for Haughty. Also, I do want to point out this Slaughter Dock tossed the 2 Jettison that Void plays.
Oh, wow, okay. So there is no Jettison left. The other thing, too, I don't think, is it round end, I think that Slaughter Docks goes off? So we actually...
Yeah, I mean, it's either round end or round start.
It's round end, because round start, it tosses it. So that toss is actually what made it go deep. And same thing as Star Spring, right? So for anybody who might be new, a lot of these landmarks, they trigger on round end. So like Star Spring as an example, if you meet the 22 heal requirement, you actually don't win the game until the turn ends. So your opponent still has that turn to kind of go through the turn and prevent that win condition. So Slaughter Docks acts in the same way. So we'll see what comes out of it at the end of the turn here.
So Void can't play a unit.
Void cannot play a unit because... Is this a trick question?
Because the final spark on the sapling represents lethal.
Oh, yes. Yeah, he's still at 3. Well, he's got Withering Wail. I mean, he could technically, and he's got Deadbloom Wanderer.
Yeah.
Like, he could technically if he wants to, but I imagine he won't. And this is what I was going to mention earlier. That pull with the sapling put Lux within range of the Devourer, which is a pretty big deal. Now, I imagine we see the Sharp Sight come out.
I could see Concerted Strike, though. I definitely would have liked to Concerted Strike the Nautilus last turn, especially because if our opponent does want to redevelop the Nautilus, that means that they are developing a sapling. We have the final spark to go for a potential lethal. I would have liked to seen Haughty play his last attack turn a little bit more proactively. I'm a little surprised that you're just kind of willing to play the long game while your opponent has a leveled Nautilus.
Do you ever play the Star Shaping just to get the final spark now? Because your opponent, because you would have priority next?
Well, the Concerted Strike is going to... Oh, no.
That's a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess...
No, so now after this, I don't see why you wouldn't Star Shaping.
Well, you would want to Star Shaping after the Atrocity results.
Yeah, so you let it resolve. It goes over to you. You use priority on the Star Shaping, get a final spark, and try to end the game on the sapling, which I was originally going to say you could only avoid that on the side of Void if you Atrocity it. Well, now we just use the Atrocity, so now that's a game-winning play. Just play the Star Shaping. You're not going to play the Star. All right, does he only need 2? If he only needs to spend 2 more mana, then we're golden. Please,
I would hope
please
so.
get a final spark. Please get a final. Yeah, there we go.
There's the scourge. The top deck scourge from the Riptide.
Oh, all right. There is still 5 mana for Withering Wail, so that's 3. So this is gonna force the Withering Wail out.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's unfortunate.
Which does still make for some awkward blocks for Void. I mean, Haughty's gonna feel pretty good about everything that's happening there. Does still have this sharp sight to block the elusive unit as well. If he wants, he could trade his entire board here. This is where things get a little bit dicey. I think you have to go down to 2.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to save your Lux. I don't think there's any world where you block with Lux. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So you actually get to keep the Ravoon as well. We finally see the sharp sight come out. Ooh.
See that?
Oh, so you were gonna say buff up the shield bearer and then trade?
Yeah, I don't know how much this Ravoon actually matters right now.
Well, if you get a Leona, it matters, but
yeah.
But you
only have one other Daybreak card in hand anyway.
Yeah, plus Maokai is the thing now. So the chances you actually get a Leona are pretty small. I mean,
they're actually 0.
Yeah, now it's 0. And then if you yeah, I don't. Yeah, I gotta agree.
Maybe we were just trying to. It's kind of weird because you consider, okay, maybe we're setting up for a Final Spark lethal onto this Devourer of the Depths, but there's a sapling coming out because your opponent has a leveled Maokai, and also you weren't representing lethal onto this Devourer of the Depths. It was only going to be 2 damage. I don't have eyes on Void's hand. Did he pick up a healing spell, or is this Final Spark going to do it out of
Well, he has
body?
another Withering Wail.
Oh my god.
Oh wait, he also has 3. Okay, if we get 2 Final Sparks this turn, he has a Vile Feast as well, but 2 Final Sparks would do it. So this will get, I imagine, just the Vile Feast. All right, actually gonna play the Withering Wail. So, oh wait, no, he's still gonna be at 3. So never mind.
Yeah.
He's still gonna be 1 short. Man, this feels so bad.
I mean, he does have the Destroyer, but I think that Void just has enough blocks to get through this.
Oh man. Well, I mean, I guess you summon the Destroyer. Now there's really no reason not to.
I mean, his Remembrance... Oh, I didn't realize the Destroyer was buffed up. Yeah, the Cosmic Inspiration. Yep. Okay, so this could be enough on the following turn. Bless you.
Thank you. I muted it for the stream.
That's right. Oh man, I'm like forgetting how Celestials work. It's been so long since we've seen them. This is a 12 attack Celestial, thanks to all of the other. I always forget that these things get buffed up.
Yep,
it's weird because like you skip 8, like the Destroyer gets buffed up. The Immortal Fire gets buffed up too. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's just been too long since I've seen a Celestial. The Lee Sin decks cut them. That's the only Targon we've seen for a while. I'm just screwing everything up in regards to these Celestials. Ignore me, everybody. The last like 2 minutes of talking. This game is gonna play
Ignore
out.
Boulevard.
Yeah, the Destroyer is just gonna get it done.
While he digs himself into a deeper hole with these Celestials.
It just be like that. Everybody does it.
I feel like, especially with Celestials, they're not always around because they only get grabbed by specific cards, and then even when they do get grabbed, they're not consistently the same cards grabbed. So in that case with the Destroyer, I know personally the Destroyer is one that I see probably the least. I usually see like the Immortal Fire, or you see what's the other, the Great Beyond. The elusive ones is usually what people grab. So just kind of goes over your head sometimes. But on the next game, we have a deep mirror match. Exciting stuff. Wow. Actually, I am pretty excited because I want to see if hopefully Void gets the Slaughter Docks early. It looks like we did get the Slaughter Docks early. I feel like Slaughter Docks is going to give Void the advantage in this mirror match 100%.
There's a lot more going on than just the Slaughter Docks difference that I think is going to impact this matchup. For starters, we have Mistcall and Salvage on the side of Haughty, whereas on the side of Void we have Stalking Shadows.
Okay.
We have this semi-potentially useless Grasp of the Undying for Haughty. Could get a pretty deep Abyssal Eye. But the one other thing is there's a Terror of the Tides in Haughty's deck.
Ooh, okay. That's a big deal too. So, question to you in a deep deck. What do you prefer more, Stalking Shadows or Mistcall?
Oh man, I want to say it's matchup dependent, but generically Stalking Shadows.
Okay. I was gonna say Mistcall. I still think that for what Miscall does, because you can kind of choose what you get a little bit more reliably than Stalking Shadows. I like it a little bit more in deep, but I like both of them. I mean, you get a Devourer that's ephemeral. Hell yeah, feels great, you know? There's a lot of good pulls with Stalking Shadows.
I play really aggressively with my Maokais, so I can run into some awkward situations with Miscall and my Saplings a lot.
Yep, Miscall and Sapling never feels good. But this Slaughter Dox feels great right now because Void is going deep a little bit faster. Haughty does have Jettison, though, and that Jettison can make up, that one Jettison literally could make up for these Slaughter Dox by the time both players are trying to go deep.
Yeah, I don't think Slaughter Dox hangs around for enough turns to really outvalue the Jettison, especially when both players start off with the Maokais on field.
Well, and that's why I think I was like reviewing the card or something, and I was kind of putting it at, okay, if you get it on turn 3, you're probably going to toss 4 with the card itself, which basically that's a 1-mana Jettison. So now you're paying 2 mana to summon a large random sea monster. So value-wise, I think it's great still.
Oh, that's a big whale.
Wow, that is amazing, actually. Always feels good to something like a whale or a Vile Feast on a Jaw Hunters is so nice. So nice. But yeah, like I was saying, the 1 mana coming off of the Slaughter Dox, so it's basically 2 mana to summon a random sea monster, and that feels really good. And especially the turn that we go deep, if Void does go deep first, he might be able to snowball a little bit faster than Haughty with that extra sea monster.
And I think he's going to. I mean, Haughty's hand is just not phenomenal. I mean, I guess you have to throw out this Devourer of the Depths onto the Thorny Toad, or you could go for a salvage turn. Looks like decides to use the salvage. I understand.
And okay, Atrocity knock. Wow, Jesus, this hand. Whew.
I mean, I don't. The only reason that I'm fine with making the sort of compromised play of playing a Devourer on this turn would be to continue to get the toss going from the Maokai. Now, ooh, this is a really bad turn for Haughty. Gonna actually lose his Maokai. I mean, imagine losing your Maokai to a 1-health challenger with 8 cards in hand.
Wow. Yeah, that's... If we actually end up with this many cards in hand, that's going to feel really bad. Because honestly, next turn, what are we going into turn 7? So we could play the Nautilus as a blocker. I don't know how far away Void is from deep, but if Void goes deep next turn, this is really bad for Haughty. All right, looks like we are not deep still. So... do you ever play the Shipwreck Hoarder here to start to be... It looks like, yeah. So Void recognizing that Haughty is just not having the best day so far and just starting to go really aggressive, getting the Shipwreck Hoarder out.
And there is the deep. That'll get us a unit off the docks.
Wow, yep. And that's, and that's going to happen going into Void's attack turn, which is a big deal.
If I counted correctly, I think Haughty's at 20.
Oh,
no, he'd have to be at 19, right? There's no way that he's doing this attack without this getting him deep.
No way. There we go. Yeah.
Okay,
so both players... and this is what I mean with the Slaughter Dox, right? So, yeah, sure, you didn't necessarily go deeper faster. Although, I will say it basically equaled this Jettison. Happened on the same turn, right? But it is going to get that additional sea monster coming out next turn. And even if it's a beast from below, we are still looking pretty good on the side of Void. And looks like, we're just going to try to chunk as much of this Big Daddy Nautilus down as possible. Going to do a sweet 9 damage, which feels really good getting it down this early.
It is going to take 10 damage, though, so that one's kind of softened up. It can't actually block whatever comes out of the docks. And that does mean that Void gets to push a decent amount of damage on the open attack, but I don't think Void is... Oh, man. It's kind of hard to say. I want to say that, generally, Void's not pressured to open attack because he can get the sapling off the Maokai, pull the Nautilus to the side, go in, great. But Haughty has a level Nautilus. Now you have to be cognizant of Devourer of the Depths, of which there are 3 in Haughty's hand. This Dead Bloom, does this level the Maokai? Okay.
Yep.
I was about to say, I feel like this Maokai's been on board for forever. A lot of tosses have come down since. We are going to see the Maokai level, and that is disastrous, but not the end of the game for Haughty.
Yeah, but Haughty now does not have any Maokais. So we're at the point where Void just basically did everything that the deep deck wanted to do a little bit faster than Haughty. And actually, one thing I wanted to mention about Slaughter Dogs, too, that I find interesting is when you look at all the landmarks, I believe I'm right in every other landmark is useless when you have a second one. Oh, yeah, this is... All right, this is just insult to injury. This is just... You didn't need the treasure trove, Void. You didn't need the treasure trove.
He might actually. So if Void didn't have another unit to play, Haughty gets down double Devourer here, and I think just wins the game on the following turn.
Oh, Jesus. Don't tell me that's actually going to happen here.
I mean, it depends on what came out of the treasure trove. And to your point a little bit earlier, no, I think most of the landmarks are good in multiples. I think the only one that isn't is University of Piltover.
No, so what I meant is having another one in your hand. So, like, if you had one on the field and you have multiples in your hand, they're basically dead cards. So
no, you can. I mean, you can just play them.
Well, yeah, but they don't. Wait, can you have more? Actually, I've never even seen that interaction yet. Can you have multiple landmarks on the field at the same time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So like 2 Nox Cryo Arena would be pretty.
Yeah.
Okay, so
2 Nox Cryo, 2 Vaults of Helia, 2 of the Targon one even happens a lot to just like get more heals off.
Ah, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, I have seen Star Spring twice. Never mind. I don't know. I just because basically, Slaughter Dogs turns into a spend 3 mana summoning random sea monster later on in the game. So, but yeah, there is no 3 Devourer or 2 Devourer coming down, so there's that. And
no, instead he's just. I mean, this still represents. Actually, no, this doesn't represent lethal.
Wait, what do we got? Bayou Brunch to Lifesteal.
Did he play this correctly?
I don't. Is he okay? He's playing. What is it? The Abyssal Eye.
Is that what you wanted to do?
Oh no. Okay,
well, so
the lizard.
I had seen like a Reddit thread about how the order on Bayou Brunch is a little confusing, and sometimes people will have the wrong unit hit the wrong unit instead of the other way around. And I mean, I don't feel like a 7-4 challenger or a 7-3 challenger or a 7-3 lifesteal are super impactful.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I think at this point, he just wanted to. I think Void just wants to get the most use out of this treasure trove. Like he'll probably play the They Who Endure after this as well. Maybe even overwrite this Dread Dredgers here.
Yeah, I mean, it does give him another blocker through the double shipwreck order. They Who Endure. Oh, it's small.
Yeah, it's a 7/7.
I mean, so the 7/7s are actually really good for Void. They will only go down to 3 attack off of the double Terror of the Tides attack. They can't be removed by the Devourer of the Depths, actually. Oh, man. So I think this is still... No, this isn't lethal. He has 3 blockers. Yep. You need to play more units, but you do have that Atrocity, and you can get down 2 Devourer and Atrocity all in the same turn.
The thing with the Devourer, though, is you can only really take off units. Besides this Dead Bloom Wanderer, if you play the other 2 Devourers, you're really only getting rid of units that wouldn't have been able to block anyways because of the Terror of the Tides effect. So,
but you are still throwing down 7 attack fearsome units.
Ooh, that is a ruination, and this is going to be an atrocity. Wow, okay, that was sudden. I was not, like, I saw Ruination in Haughty's hand the entire time. I was not expecting Void to just rip a Ruination like that.
That actually really surprises me because... Oh, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I was going to say, if Haughty had another Nautilus in hand, that would be disastrous, but Void Maokai already. It's perfectly reasonable to think that your opponent didn't have another Nautilus. And even has the Thorny Toad for the last 2 mana. Oh, is this... Can Haughty even pass here? How many cards are in his deck? Is this his last turn? Or does he get one more attack turn here?
Wait. No, I think he's got one more.
He's going to get one more attack turn. But he can only play 1 card a turn, and Plateworm Egg demands the Ruination this turn. So theoretically, still representing lethal with just this Terror of the Tides next turn into an open attack, depending on what Void has left. Granted, I feel so goofy because... chat can see Void's hand and I can't.
So Void has a Devourer, 2 Abyssal Eyes, a Dead Bloom Wanderer, Slaughter Dogs, and a Maokai.
Oh, this is just over.
So, I mean, I'm pretty sure Void is still going to be able to take this away.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But I do think it's interesting that Terror of the Tide... Like, this seemed like it was Void's all the way. Like, it seemed like there was no way that Haughty could stay in this. But Haughty has actually had a couple times where it might be possible for him to come back. Like you said, the Ruination is going to go ahead. Has to come out after the Plateworm Egg. And I imagine we'll see something like Abyssal Eye come down now. Could actually even be the Dead Bloom. Do you ever play the Dead Bloom Wanderer? No, we're going with the Abyssal Eye. I was going to say, just for the extra lifesteal, but looks like we are just going to get that additional card draw. We'll see what is off the top. And we have a Nautilus. Is not bad. So that's a thing. So
all right, and
wow,
quarter.
All right. Do we get two? Wait, is that the first one?
He leveled Nautilus after Maokai leveled.
Oh, okay.
So he did refill his deck with Seal. I was trying to figure out why he hadn't decked out yet.
Oh, he's only got one left though. This is his last attack turn still.
That is not true. Shipwreck Hoarder tosses, then shuffles in two Treaders.
Okay, so never mind.
So he is going to get a little bit more time.
Wow.
But I don't know that it's going to matter when Void gets down to Nautilus here.
Yeah, Nautilus is a little bit too big of a problem to deal with. And
what I'm hearing, SJW, is it comes down to Treasure Trove number 2. What's going to pop out of this Shipwreck Hoarder?
Oh, wait, did we... Oh, okay, then. Wait. Oh, okay, yeah, this makes sense. I don't know. I still feel like
Void will not live to... Or Haughty will not live to find out he is dead on the open
Void's
attack.
Void's going to be able to open attack. It's so crazy sometimes, these late games with these deep mirror matches of, like you think somebody's going to deck out because of Maokai, but then, like you said...
And then you guys are just sitting here throwing down, like, 2 mana 7/7s at each other. Go ahead, deal with that. Oh, you dealt with it. Here's a Plate Worm Egg. You know, that's 24 damage represented off 5 mana. Like, what are you talking about?
By the way, that's
insanity.
By the way, this 2 mana 7/7 adds 2 cards into my deck.
Yeah, and this one, you know, obliterates one of your units. All right, but that was a tie-up on the series, so we are going to see Void swap off of Deep and see what his last remaining deck is. Is it Karma Lux or is it Frostbite Midrange? It's Frostbite Midrange. You have suddenly gotten a mile away from me. I can hear you whispering from the house next door.
Oh, there we go. My
okay.
my mic kind of like jostled loose, but
I was like, did you throw your mic out the window?
Yeah.
And then start whispering?
This is extreme casting. I was actually casting upside down, hanging from my ceiling. So.
Oh, okay. Why?
Because I can. Okay.
Like the camera's off. Nobody can see me do it.
Imagine we go back to our faces and I'm upside down, hanging from the ceiling. I gotta do that one of these times now.
It's like the first week of quarantine where you're like, oh, nobody can see what I'm doing. I don't have to hop on the Zoom call with my camera. I can do whatever I want. I'm gonna hang from the ceiling.
So what I was saying was, I think generally speaking, Deep has the advantage in this matchup. I think that mid-range Frostbite very much has a small window to win, which is basically the turns before Deep goes deep and maybe like a turn or two after. After that, I think the Deep tech just has way too many options, way too many large units to really allow the mid-range Frostbite deck to challenge it at all.
I think a big part of it is how quickly can the Frostbite mid-range deck tempo out Frostbite effects.
Yeah.
If you can get an Ash close to leveled before the Nautilus turn, you're in a really good spot if you have Harsh Winds.
Yeah, and that's the other thing with Ash. So there's what I just mentioned, right, which is just straight out win the game before they go deep. Or, yeah, these surprise Ash, like OTKs, freezing the whole field, going in for an attack, that can still happen later on in the game if you set it up correctly. It's far harder, I think, to set that up and navigate that going into, turns 10 and 11 and stuff like that. But we'll see if Void does opt to go that route. But right now, I don't think he needs to. I think we have a pretty aggressive start. We have 3 Trifarian Assessors, though, which is not the greatest thing in the world. So
no. And one thing that is going to play against Void in this matchup is we talked a lot about how Deep has a really good anti-aggro early game. It's weak to certain archetypes like Fearsome and Elusive specifically, but Frostbite midrange is a deck that just does not get around Deep's early game. It is so hard to actually shoot. Like this 1/1 blocker, this is probably the matchup where that is most effective.
Now, here is one of the really stupid reasons I love Brothers Bond in this deck. Right now, we have the chance to get an Assessor down with Brothers Bond and still draw 3. This is awesome. I love that about... Like, it very rarely happens, especially because usually it's like a one-of, but god damn does it feel good. Yep.
Oh, man, this is what we call the Spanish Inquisition play.
Now, I would have liked to have gotten it down on an attack turn, so actually, I don't think Void needed to go for it right now. I think we could have just been comfortable, like, taking the damage and then going in on an attack, but opting to just go for it, wanted the card draw. Now, actually, I don't necessarily disagree with that, right? Because
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question is, what else would you have done this turn?
Well, yeah, exactly. So I think that Void recognizes this is deep, so he does need to still keep up tempo and keep summoning units and go as wide as possible. So I don't necessarily disagree with that. And we're curving out nicely into Sejuani on turn 6. So this is looking to be a pretty decent size attack turn here. We could even pull whatever we grab with the Rhymefang Wolf. A lot of damage coming through.
I think you have to get this Abyssal Eye off the field. But, I mean, if Haughty really wants to, I mean, he's got the Grasp, he's got the Devour, he's got a lot of options to actually take this Rhymefang off and make the turn really awkward for Void as this, he's not deep, but a 4/4 does line up into this Yeti, and for 1 mana, there's no response the Void can have outside of Brittle Steel.
Yeah, Devourer seems like the best response, because then you do save this Dead Bloom for next turn or even the turn after for some lifesteal. You do also...
Oh no, that Dead Bloom's dead. It's got vulnerable, but you can save the Abyssal Eye.
Oh, that's right. Sejuani with the vulnerable. Okay. What I was going to say is there's 2 Jaw Hunters too. So going into next turn, Haughty actually has an incredible turn. I imagine that would probably get it Harsh Winds if Void does have the mana for it. So we'll see how that is navigated by Haughty. But here we go. Opting for the Jaw Hunters.
I mean, this does leave open Grasp of the Undying. I am a little wary about blocking with it just because of Brittle Steel, but you got to do what you got to do. That is not the play that I expected, unless this sends us deep.
Okay, well, even if it doesn't.
Okay, it does send us deep, and that means that the Abyssal Eye is just going to kill the Rhymefang Wolf.
Yeah, this is really good for Haughty, and this is what I meant. Like, this is usually what we see, right? This is the turn of deep, and Void is already going in super strong for an attack, but actually, Haughty went a little early. I mean, look at this. This is turn 6. Deep on 6 is well, I think you can go deep on 5, but generally speaking, 6 is usually pretty fast when you're playing a deep deck. 7 is average. 8 is a little late, at least in my opinion anyways. And this is bad for Void having Haughty go deep this fast.
He's still got a little bit of doing to do, though. I mean, Void still has the board. These are all pretty threatening attackers. Haughty's down to 8 HP. Does still have a little bit of healing in hand, but he's playing on the back foot mana-wise. He's got to consistently commit these overs. I mean, if there had been like a troll chant to come out there, that would have been disastrous for Haughty. Took a pretty greedy line on that one, but does get rewarded for it.
I mean, how many Frostbite effects have we seen?
Like 1?
Oh,
I think it's just Sejuani.
Man, that feels so bad. I was gonna say, like, if we were at 2, then we could Ash now, and then next turn Harsh Winds. That would feel really, really good. Even the Rhymefang Wolf too, alongside that. But unfortunately, doesn't look like we'll get to do that on the side of Void, unless we try to high roll. What is that? 8. That'll be 9 mana. Is there? I don't know if there's any flash freezes. So I guess we could still high roll and draw into a flash freeze, and that would be amazing, because then we could go for an OTK with this Ash, and that's not a flash freeze.
I mean, you still potentially have an OTK. Any 2 hits represent lethal, so an open attack would get it done. But I mean, the Grasp of the Undying is going to be able to kill the Ash. We also have these Vile Feasts. Haughty's sitting in a pretty okay position in terms of surviving the turn. It's just a matter of, if you do Grasp here, your development is kind of stunted.
Yeah, not going to be able to... Actually, he will still be able to put Maokai on the board. We can summon a Maokai, or we can go with the Thorny Toad. Not sure if we would go with the Maokai or not. Not sure where the Maokai is at for leveling up as well. I mean, now we have to sort of consider, okay, is the Maokai win condition getting nearer? And I think that this is all going to be uphill now for Void. I think that this was the turn. I think this was kind of that tipping point turn where, okay, this is the last push. We got to do it. And Void not able to pick that up there. So now I think the other strategy you were talking about earlier, right, is now we kind of have to rely on hopefully getting this Ash win con off. I think it's at 2 now. So drawing an Ash would lead to a potential OTK with her Frostbite plus this Harsh Winds. So we'll see if that's the route Void decides to take here.
How far off leveled is this Maokai SJW? I don't think that's actually going to come into play too much.
It actually looks like it's pretty far. Like, at most, I think it's about halfway. So I think we're still probably like 10 off. No, what was that, 6 off? Wow, it doesn't highlight the arrow at 19. I think it's a 19 out of 25. It doesn't even outline the arrow.
I thought it said 18, but I'm not 100, so I think now it's at 20. Oh, 21, yeah, it was at 19.
Yeah.
So this actually, I don't know if this Jettison gets us deep. I don't know if we have enough cards in deck to toss 4.
Yeah, I'm just like, are we gonna deck
Because
ourselves
we have
out?
5 champions left in there, all 3 Nautilus and 2 Maokai. But this is what I was talking about. I mean, Void just doesn't really get to set up a board here. He is still on the back foot. We are going to see a pretty decent draw before the Maokai has a chance to level. You know, sort of getting value off of the Successor where we can.
We need the Ash.
Yeah, and this is like, we have to now Vile Feast this Omen Hawk to develop the excess blocker. It looks like we are just going to ignore it for the time being. Omen Hawk number 2, but this one is a 3/3.
Yeah, here's the Vile Feast. We needed the Ash, so even if we top deck the Ash, I think that might still get Void there. We'll see. Looks like we are. Oh, all right. We're gonna Calling Strike the Abyssal Eye while we can.
Yeah, and I mean, this is it's not looking great for Haughty at the moment. Really needed to find that. Like, he got to deep so fast, and then just couldn't do anything with it.
Oh, all right. Nautilus is a good pickup, though. And I don't currently see, at least from how the Hand of Void looks, it doesn't look like there's lethal. Unless Void develops something, in which case Haughty could then pull out a Nautilus, which is not going to be good for Void. We'll see what Void decides to do.
Man. Yeah, Void might just have to go for this third Assessor here. Sort of understand that 2 draws is the best that you can hope for while your opponent has a Maokai sitting on board.
Well, and obviously Void's probably thinking, all right, Ruination is a card.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can play. You just can't play around that. Like, you either lose to Ruination or you win at this point. It's kind of, we're at turn 10, mid-range Frostbite. This is not the turn that you are typically winning the game with this deck. And it looks like we are going to open attack. So, depending on where no matter what Haughty lives. Right? Yes. So, I don't know. I don't know if Void's going to be able to put together, and I still think we need the Ash. The problem is these blockers. You know, we keep every single turn developing more blockers.
I mean, so this is where I think things really start to turn for Void. You push 7 damage. Your opponent is out of units. Everything in his hand says, I can only play 1 unit a turn. Unless we get this Nautilus down and it survives, which I think based on Void's hand we do know will happen. Mm-hmm. So it really does come down to what comes off of both of this.
Yeah, this is...
this Bjerg and this Assessor.
Is Void playing Captain Farron?
Yeah, this is what I was afraid of. First of all, he's not, but second of all, we actually just let the Maokai level before we get down the Assessor or the Bjerg.
Yeah.
That is disastrous for Void. You know, you talked about, the Ruination's on the table, but, like, you knew that with your attacks, your opponent could reasonably line up a Maokai level up, and now you have to play scared of playing these cards. Your opponent is at 3, and I don't know if we know how to do math on this stream, but I'm pretty sure 3 is not 0.
Whoa. Back up. Yeah, I think you're right. And wait, what?
The absolute madman.
Did he just play the...
So he only gets...
Okay.
He's risking it all on the next attack turn.
Yeah. But now that there's a Nautilus down, there's going to be way too many units on Haughty's field. It's not...
Yeah, but, I mean, it's that, and why didn't we do that pre-combat?
Yeah, and we have... Yeah,
you're actually just dead to the double Terror of the Tides here.
Haughty's going to take it. Haughty is gonna and the Terror of the Tides I think makes it actually double Terror makes it so nothing can block. God, that feels bad.
Yeah.
Oh, and Void gonna get taken down. He can Frostbite something and Reckoning it, I guess. Okay, so we get 2 kills, but that's not gonna be enough.
Those are not the units that I thought we were going to.
Oh wait, is he just gonna?
Yeah, now we don't have Reckoning mana.
Yeah, no. I thought we were gonna do Nautilus and then one of the Terrors and then block.
This is still lethal.
Well, Troll Chant.
Oh yeah, I guess Troll Chant stops you.
I just feel like Void.
Oh man.
I don't know if Void gave up last turn. I just feel like I feel like the ordering of these cards could have been played a little bit better, maybe. Wait, what? Why did he just didn't even Troll Chant? Okay, well, I guess. All right, well, that was anticlimactic. Looks like
that was definitely
weird last
pretty
couple
weird
of turns.
sequencing over the last couple of turns from Void.
All right, and there you have it. Haughty has taken the game there. Void looking like made a couple of misplays there towards the end, so really unfortunate to see that on the side of Void. But I'm sure next week we'll be able to take home some W's on the side of Team OTK. So until next time, everybody stay healthy, stay positive. I hope shit just works for you, and peace out.